never been so proud like a papa. So proud of our boy Rudeus to be so utterly disappointed in our boy Rudeus in one episode ever. Before I fully dive into the whole entire episode, let me just say this, as a reviewer, of episodes and anime and weekly reviews, I take notes virtually every single episode that I review. Now, some that are like very popcorn anime, like basically nothing really happens except for like one or two things. Maybe I won't take more than a couple of notes, but for the most part, I take as much notes as I can for everything that I think I want to talk about in a video. I don't get to everything, but I take notes. And when it comes to Mushoku Tensei, like I have like just a whole page and a half of notes just from this episode, just mindlessly typing as I was watching the episode. And when I compare that to my notes of almost any other anime, it's no comparison. And that just tells me on how just awesomely written and just so captivating and just so intriguing that Mushoku Tensei really is. So I just want to throw that out there. All right. So I just want to talk about the end of the episode after credits, and then I'll talk about everything else. So it looks like, and I'm going to F up her name, but our very horny elf girl, Elenise, Jesus Christ, I cannot. Alina Lees, she finally found Rudy based on the rumors of Rudeus the Quagmire. And she got her info, but she decided to give up her body anyways. Like, what a pimp, right? Like, oh my gosh. But she finally found him at the end of the episode. And my first question was like, why is she alone? That was my first question, because she was typically going around looking for the Grey Rat family with the dwarf guy. And she was traveling with Roxy at one point too. So it's like, okay, which direction did Roxy go? And she's definitely going to be an in, or she's definitely going to be a catalyst to drive Rudy back to Roxy, I think. And I think that's what's going to be really awesome is he's constantly thinking about Roxy. He's thinking, when the girl at the brothel was like, yo, he just needs to find a girl that he's not so kind of like his body really like subconscious isn't afraid of. And his first immediate thought was Roxy. So it's like, okay, now we know that he's going to be one step closer to Roxy. So I'm like, F yes. The other thing too is with Alina Lees, or however the hell you say her name, she has a high level of, so I wonder if she will be a catalyst to also bring Rudy back out, of that shell too, because she seems like she won't give up. So it's going to be very interesting. Maybe he'll be able to be a, what do they call it? An Eskimo brother of his brother? An Eskimo brother of his father, which I think will be hilarious. If you don't know what Eskimo brother is, please look it up. I'm sure you might have one or two ladies or gentlemen out there who's your Eskimo brother or Eskimo sister, unfortunately. Okay, so I'm very excited about all of that. Now, basically, let me just try to go through all of this stuff, and let me just condense my thoughts in here. I like that the episode started off with Rudeus celebrating. I found it funny that the group just forgot about their group member that died. I like how it was very evident that Sarah and Rudy were getting closer and very closer. And it was awesomely evident that Sarah was really like, she was feeling Rudy a lot, even though her initial reaction for him was not good at all. She was very jealous at the mention of Roxy when he was talking about his awesome teacher and the person who taught him magic and stuff like that. She ended up asking him out on a shopping date, which went awesome, which just went absolutely incredible, and it couldn't have been a better date for him if he thought so. It ended up with them sharing drinks at the bar, drinking some vino, getting a little drunky, and Sarah admits to him, I was like, yes, my girl. She admits to him that she always likes to drink a little extra when he's around, basically dropping all the hints left ways of Sunday. And eventually she gets to a point. He's like, okay, let me take a step back. He's like, I don't know if it's aggressive mode here or what. And then he's like, yo, Paul, this one's for you, brother. And you know what I mean? Just a lot of awesome things that were going on in his mind as we got to hear him narrate this whole entire scene. He ends up saying, hey, let me take you back to your place. And then she's like, oh, do you want to go somewhere to hang out? Eventually Sarah just says, yo, take me to your room kind of thing. He finally got her in the position that he wants him to. And then the thing that's happened to all of my brothers out there is his sword wasn't able to get unsheathed, and I felt that in my soul. We've all been there, and it's not fun. Now, what I will say for him, and maybe it wasn't his first thought, is let's just say, you know what I mean? Let's just say that the lightsaber won't kick on. You got to shake it around a bit, check the batteries. There's a lot of things that he could have done with Sarah to, maybe try and get him where he needed to be. But he just kind of instantly gave up. And it kind of makes sense in a way based on the writing, because it was the first time that it's happened. And it was unexpected for him, and he was in the moment and ready and willing, and his second in command just wasn't responding. So I was like, in that moment, I kind of knew this was gonna be a big fail, but I was like, yo, Rudy, yo, you still got her there. Like, don't give up on this situation, and we don't really know what happened, because the next thing he was clothed, or he was trying to wake up the dragon, and the next scene that we got after, he was not clothed anymore, and Sarah was, and she was saying, I hate you, kind of thing. Very when those kind of things happen, typically the other person, in most of these specific situations, usually the women, they will think that it's them in that situation. When most of the time, 99% of the time, it's us in those situations. So she immediately got really pissed off, which rightfully so. And then he just spirals out, and he ends up seeing the Paul the Paul lookalike in the bar. Because he comes and gives him shit again, and I don't know what this effing guy's name is. I didn't write down what his name is, and I never really caught it. But I'm just going to continue to call him the Paul lookalike, who's been giving him a ton of trouble, a ton of shit. And I think most people do that because they like him. But, he was giving a bunch of crap, and he just started, wailing on this dude. And he just kind of allowed it to happen as Rudy just vomited out all of his feelings that he was having of inadequacy and hardships and everything. It was a really, emotional moment. And eventually he's like, yo, how about we just drink and you just talk to me, dude? And he does. And he tells him everything. And he hits him with, okay, so what you're telling me here is, to summarize, your manhood won't rise, and you got dumped, and you got abandoned, bro. And this dude did not hold back at all. He did not sugarcoat shit. And I was like, yes. So he ends up, long story short, there's a lot of stuff that happens, but he ends up taking him to a brothel, and he meets somebody with red hair, very heiress-like, and I think her name was Elise or something like that, and Rudy at some point saved her little sister, healed her little sister, so she already had a lot of admiration for him. She tried a lot of things, let your imagination take foot, but she tried a lot of things to get him up and at him, and it just didn't work. So he goes back and he talks to the Paul lookalike, and they get the skivvy of I think internally he's just kind of afraid. So there's no call to action there. And long story short, they leave that after getting drunk and stuff. The Paul lookalike describes dungeons as sex. So I thought that was funny. He was like, yo, you just need to get closer to Sarah before jumping back in the saddle kind of thing. But he F's it up because he begins just talking a bunch of shit. And Sarah was right there. So he basically lost all chance with Sarah. So Sarah's basically one of our favorite girls, basically gone. No chance. Instead of the fourth girl, just goes back to the three girls that we got. And the guy, the Paul lookalike, invites him to the Duchy of Neris with them. So he's gonna go on an adventure with these guys, and that's kind of where our next piece of this is gonna pick up as we leave our girl Sarah behind. Which really sucks that he's never gonna be able to make up with her, because I think that there was really something there, and he just really needed, at this point, he just needed to run up to her and tell her the truth. You know, my manhood wasn't working. I was left, and it's not you. And, you know, he could, there's a shit ton of things he could have said that he just decided not to. He just decided to break down and try to off himself real quick. So, all right, I went on for too long. This episode was incredible, as always, each and every week. Love that you guys are here. Let me know all your thoughts in the comments, whatever I missed. Let me know what you think. And how the hell do you say Alina Lise? Let me know how the hell you say it in the comments. All right, my friends. See you next week. Peace.